Hello and welcome to this special interview as part of Automotive Management's Dealer AI Week. I'm joined today by Adrian Nash, Chief Product Officer at Keyloop, and we're going to talk today about making the most of your data and how AI is helping retailers in this area. Thanks for joining us today, Adrian.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. So we've got a sort of short amount of time, I suppose, just to kind of touch on things at a fairly high level, but I wanted to kick straight into things about how dealers should approach and structure their data strategy. And I wondered whether we could start off by just asking you a little bit about what some of the biggest barriers are sort of preventing retailers from unlocking the full value of their data and how they might be able to approach structuring a data strategy to overcome that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, is the topic of AI is ultimately important when it comes down to data, right? Because data will provide all of that context that you need in an AI strategy that means that it's meaningful for your business, right? So, you can definitely leverage some elements of Gen AI, agentic, but ultimately the barrier to that effectiveness is going to be how you augment those large language models with the data of your enterprise and your customer base in a protected and compliant way. So as you think about like building up that data strategy to empower an AI strategy, I think it's not just related to automotive. Any industry has the same challenge of a silo approach to customer data, meaning that you might have a piece of the customer in this part of the engagement over here. You might then have another part of the customer engagement in another system over here with another data silo. And it's very hard unless you're a really high-tech kind of tech company to wire that all together so that you've got that view of the customer that's like evolving, and the vehicle, things like vehicle and repair order, all of those elements, right? That come together to create something unified as opposed to distributed. So we see a bunch of customers that have distributed kind of data across the ecosystem. And so the first step to that AI strategy is how you think about how can we unify this? How can we then empower that data to launch our insights, our automation as part of the AI strategy?
Great, thanks, Adrian. So I suppose one of the concepts that I wanted to touch on a little bit was about Keyloop's kind of 5 stages of data maturity. So kind of what does that mean, and how do you think about that from a strategic perspective? And how do you then kind of move from having connected data and connecting all those silos up, like you say, and moving to something where AI is actually helping make business decisions and help you with decision making and things like that?
Yeah. So in the same way that we would provide advice to our customers in their data strategy, we've had to do the same, right? Because Keyloop has 30 plus products across our portfolio, across different geographies and things like that. So we've had to solve this challenge ourselves to build solutions that launch into the automotive industry. But it's pretty relevant to dealership groups as they think about data, and really stage one is like the model. So the taxonomy of the data, like what do we call this field as part of this data model, like customer's first name, customer's last name, work email address, personal email address. That's a very simple example, but if you look across automotive, there's probably around 180 different domains of data. So you need like, what does good look like first? It's like the blueprint of what something, what good looks like. So once you have that model, the next thing is, okay, where do I have this data in a single place? So I've got the model, I've got all this disparate data. How can I kind of put it into the place that leverages that model in a centralized way so that I can then start to use it more of a hub and spoke model rather than like wired across the end, the IT landscape. So data storage is important. And the first thing, there's lots of different ways to store data, but there's like an operational way to store data. So we'll go to look at my current customer record and my current vehicle record and my current jobs to be done in the workshop, for example. Where do I go for my active operational record? So that's like data storage part. And then as you think about there's lots of data out there in the ecosystem. There does need to be this like central place, this lake of data that then stores things like clickstream data from your websites, red and amber work from your service orders, environmental, data that goes into a single lake of data. So that's really stage 3. Is beyond operational. How do I start to have a data strategy that goes beyond that, so that I can start to have much bigger data sets that I can then use to train things like machine learning models and augment with my Gen AI kind of strategies. And similar to that technology, what a data lake does is you throw all the data in, and afterwards you kind of prepare that for use in a structured way. A data warehouse is the other way around, in that you structure it so that you can use it in things like business insights reporting and dashboarding and things like that. So that's really like, how do you leverage all of that data in a warehouse that gives you insights and recommendations and starts to turn that data into decision-making things, right? We all wish that we could make more data-driven decisions, and that's really that stage, right? So it's really how you can leverage that data to do more. And then once you have that data strategy, so you've got the data model, the data storage, data lake, data warehouse, you can start to think about how you leverage that as part of your AI strategy. And this is where automation and context-driven decisions come in. So all of that data is effectively the context that you need. In the AI industry, they call it like RAG, which is augmentation retrieval. So you've got the LLM, the power of the LLM to make the right contextual decision, and then you've got augmented data alongside that tailor it to your enterprise. So that's why that we feel that you will be able to leverage AI in some use cases today, but there will reach a scale where you need to augment it with your data, and that's why this data strategy is so important to your AI strategy going forward.
Got it. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, I think that's really handy to kind of put it into that context and help people kind of understand that a little bit more. So can we talk about, once retailers have kind of achieved a bit of a higher level of data maturity, what kind of tangible benefits do you think that's going to unlock? And can we kind of try and quantify the impact a little bit and what you sort of see happening here?
Yeah, so once you reach those higher levels of data maturity, you're able to make much better business decisions, right? You've got the data of how your network is performing, how individual functions of a dealership are performing, how, when you implement something new, how much efficiency is it driving in that business process. So I think the more data, the further along that path of data maturity you are, the more business decisions that you're making, ultimately then driving things like the right customer experience and the right operational margin. So the top line and the bottom line is really important when you're thinking about data strategy, because it's helping you make better business decisions that drive both, right? And then I think with with generative AI augmented with your data strategy, you're going to see things like, for example, inside Keyloop, we use Claude Code to augment some of our development teams, and there's like a 20% improvement in effectiveness if they start to use those tools effectively. So that, we're a tech company, right? But the same applies to things like if you're filing warranty returns, if you're managing an invoicing process, you're thinking about like recovering red and amber, working with more automation. So ultimately, the opportunity space is data-driven decisions, which mean that you're making more effective decisions. Augmenting with AI means that your secret sauce of your organization will be augmented with the power of AI to deliver experiences that are just not possible today. So get these basics right, and you're going to be flying on an AI strategy as opposed to thinking of those two things separately.
Got it. Thanks, Adrian. Well, that's kind of wrapped up things and what we've got time for as part of this, but I really appreciate you sort of sharing some views and a bit of insight into sort of data strategy and AI there. And I just want to say thanks everyone for watching, and please keep your eyes peeled for more content on AM's website and social channels for more features, guides and videos as part of Dealer AI Week. Thanks very much, Adrian. Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks. Take care.